Good afternoon, friends. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, Dr. Nandi.
Yeah, good afternoon to all of you.
So I welcome everybody to this session, and I welcome Dr. Nandi, who's come on our platform after a very long time, but he's been a great supporter and promoter of our learning initiatives. So for those who don't know Dr. Nandi, it's really a pleasure to introduce him because he's going to be speaking on a topic which he actually embodies himself, that is multiculturalism. And incidentally, this is the topic he gave a talk on very recently in Canada, which I'm sure he'll mention about his experience. But so let me take this opportunity to introduce him to all of us. So as we know, he is with the NMIMS Kharghar Navi Mumbai campus. He is a professor of management, and he's been with us for about 3 years now. He is serving as a full-time professor in the Kirit P. Mehta School of Law, and he has been taking sessions on various domains of general management, soft skills, law, business management, etc. He's done huge amount of certifications. He's a very excellent corporate trainer. And one of the things which he's noted for is the bestseller he had written some time back called Be a Habitual Winner. Before coming into academics, Dr. Nandi has a very vast corporate experience. And because of being a civil servant, he has also been working in the bureaucracy. So he was with the government of Odisha, where he served as deputy collector and executive magistrate. He worked with the Reserve Bank. He also worked with the Reserve Bank Note Mudran factory, where they print the notes. So that is also somewhere where he's worked on. He had a long stint in Tilaknagar Group of Industries, where he was chief mentor, he was the CEO, he was the occupier, he was for a while the independent director and then an executive, non-executive director as well. And in UTI Technologies, where he also worked for long, he was the senior vice president for HR, IR, legal, quality, admin, etc. So with these few words, I would like to welcome Dr. Nandi and request him to share his perspectives on how multiculturalism can help shape the productivity of our organization. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, and namaste to all of you. And I must first thank Deepak sir for saying such nice words about me. And I must also thank all of you friends, those who have joined in from different campuses and all that. Yeah, I have been very happy to be associated with the initiatives taken by Deepak sir for improvement of knowledge and skill in the among the employees in the campus. And but today I'll be talking on a different area altogether because I did this. I delivered a talk on the same subject in Toronto School of Management on 11th of January. I had an invitation from that place and I went there and I delivered it. It was very highly appreciated. They are very senior functionaries from different universities and students they had joined, and they say that this is very important for their country. So I had to actually be there for 2 days to do a little bit of research because they wanted me to make a presentation of role of multiculturalism actually in business environment in general and with special reference to Canada. So I studied from their, chambers of commerce and industry bodies, got picked up a lot of data, and then I found that the situation is not much different than it is in India, though in their case, it is slightly more helpful to them because the migration to Canada is quite high. And they are coming from all across the globe. So there are a lot of schools there. There are a lot of public opinions there who are against any sort of migration, and because they think that it does not do any good and it is unnecessarily diluting their culture and all that. But there was a very significant industry body who have done a lot of research, and then they have found out that how with diversity and how with multiculturalism the Canadian economy has thrived well and it is doing much better. And you will be surprised to know that the diversity element in Canada, they found out that if it is diversity is going up by 1%, then the productivity in the organization is going up by 11%. And whereas in US, it is not going up that much. That means they have a much more inclusive work culture, and and it results in higher productivity. We'll talk about that, but I'll be focusing on the Indian conditions only, because the Canadian side that I have removed from my PPT, and we'll be talking about the Indian situation, which I did little bit of study in the last 2-3 days. Then I found I have incorporated these findings only. So the title of the topic that I have kept for this particular audience and this particular talk is multiculturalism in current uncertain business environment in India, with specific reference to India. Okay, so we'll be talking about this, and I'll entertain a lot of questions from you, because it is a collective learning process. So I think some of the very important findings you will share with me, and you can ask me any question on this, because I have done a little bit of study, very exhaustive study on this topic. Okay, so I go to the first one. Yeah, so culture in a global economy, as you know, after globalization in 91 in India, actually we are a global village. So earlier it was not so, and you know very well as to how before globalization, to elbow out competition, we had artificially taken some steps. In the Nehruvian era, we had taken steps how to elbow out competition by increasing customs duty to a ludicrous level of sometimes 850%, 900%, so that anything that comes from abroad will become so costly that you will be always dependent on whatever we produce, even if they are third-rate products, we have to depend on them. Okay, and that is how a stage came. Our competitiveness came down very low, because with no competition that we decided to do within a very structured manner through different types of tax regime, there was hardly any competition, and that is why cars like Ambassador, which are slightly, Ambassador is nothing but slightly more reliable than a bullock cart, more reliable than a bullock cart. That also thrived for nearly 50 years. There was no competition. So that is how, when there is no competition, whatever you produce, that you produce for your domestic market, and you cannot export anything. If you don't export anything, then there is no foreign exchange. Then you go to IMF to borrow, beg, and all that, and then they put up their conditions, like as you have seen now how they are putting up tough conditions to Pakistan, and Pakistan is virtually on its knees. That sort of situation also came to us. Then IMF prescribed 12 conditions, and the first condition was opening the market. And that is how, when you open the market, the competition came rushing in from across the globe, because nobody has the guts to ignore such a big basket market like India, okay, which is twice the size of the whole of Europe. So naturally, and it's very strong emerging middle class prepared to spend money. So in that situation, everybody came rushing in, and now the magic is that we are the best. Our growth rate is the best. I was asked a lot of questions on this in their forum also, in the Canada University, sorry, Toronto University. That how is it that you have pulled up such a high growth rate? Our growth rate is the highest in the world now. That is 6.9%, 6.7%, I think. Yeah. And China is below at 4. And US and other countries, Canada itself is at 1.2% growth rate. And US is also at 3% growth rate. So in this situation, how they are surprised how our growth rate is the highest in the world, and what is going to happen to this country in another 10-15 years time, when we will be the youngest country in the world. because now China was youngest country for the last 10-12 years, but now they've started aging, and our youngsters, they will do wonders for this country. I am very sure about it, because we will be the future powerhouse for the entire world. So that was the thing with which I was very upbeat in my talk and interaction with their Chamber of Commerce, who also they had invited me in the evening for dinner, and then they said that we have never come across such upbeat and such confident speak about Indian resurgence in the next 10 years. I said, yes, that has happened. That has happened, and it is going to happen. And then came this important point, because almost 50% of the students in that business school, they were Indians. The rest were a mix of Chinese and Europeans and other Asian countries. Okay, so these are the situations I faced, and very proudly I proclaimed. Now coming to this point, that when we have become a global economy, then our culture mainly comprises of, as you know, beliefs, customs, attitudes of a distinct group of people. And culture comes from dress, food, language, art, history, geography, and religion. These are the very formal things all of you are aware, so I need not have to explain. So these contribute to forming a homogeneous culture of a particular group. As far as India is concerned, culture changes every village. That is what I told them when I spoke about it. I told them that when you talk multiculturalism, then you did the right thing. Actually, their student syndicate, they decided to invite an Indian for this particular topic, and Bombay Chamber and others where I have delivered a lot, they recommended my name. They said he is an expert. So that is how I got the invitation. But why Indian they invited? The reason is nobody can talk so confidently on multiculturalism other than an Indian, because only in India you move from one village to another, the culture totally changes. Okay, and then the impact of the whole topography on developing a particular culture, that is so clearly visible in our country. And all of you may be knowing how culture changes and behavior changes from one region to another, then one village to another. So like this, and the type of socio-economic situation in which we are in, I said that I was living in the Indian Railways quarters, or my father was working in the left side quarters. There was one Tamil Brahmin. So from whom we learnt actually how to make perfect sambar. And from the right side, there was a Muslim chacha, from whom we learned how to make perfect biryani. Okay. So, and in the middle, we had the synergy of everything. So the multicultural dynamics we understand better. They don't understand better. For them, it is either you or me, you or me. Either you are with me or you are against me. It is not so in India. That is what I started my talk before. I started my talk with this. Then they are very impressed. They said yes. So these things contribute to formation of a homogeneous culture. Then culture may refer to an entire country, ethnic group, social group, or institution. As all of you know, that India was never earlier considered to be a homogeneous culture. But after all the princely states were merged, then slowly, we tried to put ourselves into a crucible where all the best of each and every culture of all the princely states, whatever they are practicing in food, in belief, in language, everything fell into one crucible, and then the basic Indian culture, it emerged. Because when you go abroad, you will see that everybody talks about Indian culture. Nobody talks about the culture of Bombay or Delhi and all that. Right? Yeah. Then ethnic group, as we are the oldest civilization, so we also inherit a lot of cultural moorings from the past, from our very powerful myths and epics and all that. Then social group and institution, yeah, they also, yeah. Next is culture and business. See, the basic purpose of inviting a professor of management was that what is the role of culture as far as business is concerned. See, in multiculturalism, for a country like US or Canada, it is one side is ethical issue. The other side is, does it drive business? Ethical issue is okay. We must, we are a rich country and a poor people, they are coming, when I was there, there was a tragedy about the boat tragedy that people from Latin American countries, from, the countries like Bangladesh and other countries from India also, they go by taking such dangerous routes through Mexico and all that, and they come in search of a better life. So, and they say we cannot deny a sort of residence to them, but we have to restrict also. So that is the ethical side. The other side is whether by allowing these people to come to the country and then set up their whether does it improve business, does it help me making more money so that I can spend on them or whatever the organizations, whether it is possible. So I focused on the business side but not on the ethical side, because I said yes, it is up to you. Like the same thing we face in India also. All our neighbors, they come running to India now that all the neighboring countries, they have been totally devastated with COVID, this and that. Then the pressure on India is quite high. Every day there are so many illegitimate people, so illegitimate, I mean illegally they are entering the country and they are coming and they are settling down. So to what extent is it ethical or not, on that I don't want to make any comment. But I, being a management professor, I will talk only about the impact of multiculturalism on business. So in business, culture has two important meanings. In the broad sense, it refers to the customs of other countries with which companies do business. Yes. Suppose my client countries are say Latin American countries, then I should know what is their business etiquette and as to how they are doing business. Is there any similarity, or can I pick up their culture and try to sell my product better to them? A custom is a practice followed by people of a particular group or region. So business culture refers to the standards of a particular company. As you know, the business standard will differ from multicultural company, sorry, multinational to domestic companies, and in many situations, the cultural moorings, they play a very important role. So as companies trade worldwide, they must be aware of different cultural and business practices. So in that, I have included these few things. Number one is etiquette. Then business customs, rules for personal interactions. Yes, all these in totality, they influence actually your business readiness. Your business readiness is decided on the basis of these things. So culture in a global economy, companies that trade with other countries must be aware of differences in language. Yes. So language will be different. My client country is interested in my product. That does not make it compulsory that I should understand his language or he will understand my language. But as long as he is my client, okay, I need him. He may not need me. He may get another source, but I'll have to understand the language. And then the currencies, now a Pakistani rupee is 300. 300 Pakistani rupee is equal to $1. 500 Sri Lankan rupee is equal to $1. In that situation, our rupee has also depreciated, but it is at 80 rupees. So if it is 82 or 81 rupees, then it is still respectable. So that plays a very important role, because you know what is the importance of devaluation of currency in export. Exports will go up because for the same amount of export you are getting more rupees, because rupee has devaluation has taken place. So then laws, how they are protecting the target country where you are doing business, how are they in a position to protect your business? Because that is one thing most of the companies they look for, and many companies they ran away from India earlier because our courts and all that, because of our long run process for years and years and all that, and a lot of ambiguities in our laws. We are not able to protect their interest. Then eating habits, these are also different from one culture to another. Then even systems of measurement, In Canada, they follow the British system. It is kilometer. Okay. Whereas in US, it is not so. It is miles. So everything system of measurement, they vary. So failure to understand the culture of a country in which you do business can ruin a deal or lead to a marketing disaster. Yeah, this is more visible in the marketing domain. Yes, because there you come across the customers and you should understand what is the sensitivity of the customer, and that is how multiculturalism plays a very important role. Then business etiquette conduct that is considered socially acceptable in business differs from country to country. Yeah, this business etiquette, it differs from country to country. Because what is normal in one country, that will be different. Some example just I have picked up. In the USA, receiving a gift from a potential business partner could be seen as a bribe. Yeah. But in Japan, it is customary to give gifts. And there are many rituals involved. So Japanese being an Asian country, they follow rituals also. And they believe it is customary to give some gift. There is nothing wrong with it. Whereas in US, they will think that you are bribing. In India, before doing business, it is customary to have tea. Okay, it is customary to have tea. Tea is something which is very common to us, and we are the best tea makers in the world. And when we talk of tea, then one very interesting multicultural situation. I had faced. I'll tell you that my last company, Tilaknagar Group of Industries, we had business in China. So when I had gone once, then I needed an interpreter because nobody will understand English from airport itself. And then during my stay, then I was invited by one of the clients that you can for tea. He invited for tea. So when I went there, then this translator, this girl was also with me. So when I was sipping tea, she just nudged and gave me a little bit of push in the shoulder. And I said, what? Then she spoke in English and told me, sir, please make sound when you are sipping tea. I said, why? No, you are silent. And possibly you do not know. Chinese ladies, they are very touchy. That if you are not making sound means slurping sound, that means you are not enjoying the tea that she has so painstakingly made for you. So please make some sound. Then immediately as I was taught in my school that I should not make sounds. Slurping sound should not be there. It is considered to be discourtesy. Now this girl is teaching me that you should make sound, then only she is happy. Then the moment I started doing sound for the tea, then the lady started smiling. Then I could understand, okay. So you can imagine that a little bit of cultural gap, what sort of impact it can have, okay, in any sort of business deal you are making. So you should be very familiar with the target country, their culture. In Mexico, throwing documents on a table during meeting is considered an insult. Okay, it may not be so. Possibly in India also many times, if boss is slightly unhappy, he will throw it. So, but nobody considers it to be an insult. Then business strategies to avoid cultural problems. So how do you then manage? See, this is what I also did in my last company where I worked as a director, that hire local managers, think global, act local. Hire a Swedish person to manage office in Sweden. That is what we are doing within the country also. In all the states where we had business, nowhere actually we had taken a non-local person as head of the regional manager or head of the state head. It is always a local person. Because he in marketing, actually, as I say, you come frequently across the cultural, differences. So that is why if he is a local person, then it is better. So in same thing, multicultural situation also, when you are entering a particular country for business, then it has to be think global but act local. Then train employees to live and work in other countries. This is what something which is very widely popularized now in various business schools, including our Narsimhanji also, that how your internship in many schools, when I was in Toronto School of Management, I found half of their students, they go to other countries to do their internship so that they are exposed to multicultural situation. And they try to learn, because each and every culture has a propensity to productivity. Each and every culture has a propensity to productivity. That is why in my last company also, when he used to recruit people, we used to see from which state he is and why, which culture, from which culture he is. So I was doing this when I was the CEO and director, that okay, if I have to take somebody in accounts, maybe a chartered accountant, and I have to recruit, I'll try to take somebody from the south, because they are very good in analytics. They are very good in analytics, and they keep very good accounts of the business, and okay, that's fine. That's fine. So that was, and my experiment was doing very well. But if I have to find out somebody as marketing head, I'll definitely take somebody from Punjab, so that he can dance balla and he can actually swing away the customers' moods. And if you make little bit of change here and there can be a problem. And because each and every culture has a propensity to productivity. Okay, like for training this and that, I used to always prefer Bengalis, because a Bengali is born in one hand with a harmonium, the other hand will be with a book. So in soft skill or this and that, they are much better always. Yes, yes. So you should try to make use of them. So what I'm trying to tell you is, each and every culture, like my friend was telling, if a Bengali is born with a book in one hand, then a Gujarati is born with a share certificate in his hand, or a Marathi also. So you should try to make use of that propensity to productivity. So and that is what is very important. And I have personally practiced it in my last company very successfully. And this is the same thing in a global scale. Most of the multinationals, they also do that. The same thing they also do. Okay. Then train employees to live and work in other countries. Yes. Only when you know the dynamics, then you will be able to sell the products better in that country. As more countries trade globally, there is an increased demand for people who have studied other languages and cultures. This is very important, sir, that only in many, I was told there, I was told, in fact, what one job fair was going on. One job fair was going on in Toronto University, so I attended that. And in that job fair, I went to different stalls. Job fair is a place where all the students with their management degrees, they can go to the stalls and they can try to sell themselves in 3 to 4 minutes talk. They will allow you to talk. And there, I found all of them were giving a lot of importance. What is your multicultural exposure? What is your multicultural exposure? Okay, and there they will see internship. Where from you did your internship? Was it multicultural? Did you have you do how many countries you have traveled? Your experience in doing business in other countries, or your internship? How many research papers you have produced? Where you have talked about a multicultural situation? All these things, they are giving a lot of importance. I have seen in person. So, and they will be paid higher salary. Okay. So that is very important, because they give more importance to higher salary rather than campus placement. Like in India, you go to any roadside management college, not they should need not be as famous and as esteemed as our university, but go to any roadside college in Navi Mumbai or any place. They will say, sir, we give 100% placement. At 100% placement, at what price, at what salary? Now they, all of them, they get 15 to 20,000 salary per month. Then you will try to crush your head against the wall that his father has taken a loan admitting this guy in the school, and his monthly EMI is coming to repay the loan is 25,000, and this guy is telling I'm getting 15, 20. So the dynamics there is, what is your CTC? At what CTC you are joining? That is the most important thing. All of us, we should also try to do that, instead of talking about this which makes no sense, that 100% placement. Yeah, it basically, how many high CTC placement you are doing. That should be the credit of a management school. Okay, that is what I learned from them. Okay, because otherwise it makes no sense, no economic sense. Okay, train employees to live and work in other countries. As more countries trade globally, there is an increased demand for people who have studied. Yeah, so study high demand languages, culture. I found two institutes are there in Toronto University who are teaching. One is teaching Chinese, the other one is teaching Hindi. And also there are classes in Arabic and Mandarin in Chinese. Yeah, Mandarin Chinese, they are the same, their dialect. So why they are doing? Because they see the future in us. They see the future in India and China. Okay. And that is what I was just telling in the beginning, that my growth rate is 6.7%. Chinese growth rate is 4%. And USA's growth rate is 3%. Canada is 1.7 or 2%. Okay, so you can always imagine who will be in the command theater command in the days to come. Who will be? Nobody can prevent us from being so. So and Arabic because you they may not be in the center, but they have the petrodollars because of which you can do all. They somebody was mentioning when I was talking there that the advantage of doing business there is even if you lose money, still you don't go down the drain because they have so much petrodollars that they will always bounce back. Okay. Then comes spend a semester or two of college studying abroad. Yeah, that is what most of the business schools are doing, and I suggest they should do that. At least one semester or two college. That is what the collaboration is happening with many business schools abroad, with many business schools in India, where one semester or one trimester they are going to study there. That opens up the avenues of opportunities for them when they go to the marketplace after completing their business degree. Okay. Then corporate culture, a company's shared values, beliefs, and goals. Yeah, it is a shared values because you go to Ambani's company, then you will find this is Reliance culture. You go to Tata culture, that is totally different. Okay, totally diagonally divergent, totally. Okay, so like this, and every culture is looking at productivity, but they are looking from a different prism altogether. So a company's shared values, beliefs, and goals, all totality, they form the corporate culture. So culture may be defined formally through a company code of ethics. Many times when the day somebody joins a company, he is directed to meet HR after taking the joining report. First thing hands over is this is the code of conduct. This is the manual. This is the code of ethics and the orientation process. Okay. See, the idea is so that you get yourself gelled into the company's work culture. And these are the code of ethics, code of conduct. They are different types of tools. After going through that, you become a part of the company's culture. Then informally, through dress codes, yes, dress code, because if you are wearing a particular dress, then it gives you the sense of pride that yes, I'm working in this company. Then work habits and social activities, okay, they are also helping you to identify and forming a good corporate culture. Factors influencing cultures may include company's founder. Company's founder, many times they have a role to play. They decide that this should be my culture. This should be my culture. Like I have worked earlier in both non-vegetarian, vegetarian company. Vegetarian company means I said, who made it vegetarian? Because I didn't know. So in a vegetarian company, during lunch, my wife had cooked some egg, and I was taking, my secretary came running and picked up the egg and threw in the dustbin. Sir, don't tell anybody that you had brought egg today. You have not seen clause number 26 of the code of conduct says that you cannot eat any non-veg in this office. So I said, Ari, I have read only up to 10, not I have not gone up to 21. I'm sorry. So I became sorry and I never ate non-veg in the vegetarian company. Same thing I did when I switched over to a non-veg company. I never ate veg there. Okay, so so these are the part of culture. Then industry, banking, technology, geographic location also different makes a lot of difference with the culture edge, you can see that if you are going to far east, then what is the culture? If you are going to far west or far north, then the culture changes. Okay. Then examples of corporate culture, some examples. McDonald's and Disney stress customer service and family values. Employees are expected to be clean cut and greet each customer with a smile. That is how, if you go to McDonald's and all that Disney, this will be. In FedEx, Ben and Jerry's and Patagonia, stress worker satisfaction and concern for environment. So they stress, that job satisfaction, workers should be satisfied, and concern for environment. Concern for environment is very high in these companies. They are also because of the culture. Okay. Yeah. Then company founder can influence its culture, as I was just giving the example. The one example, William Hewlett says people fast. Regional differences, Wall Street firm in New York may expect to wear a suit and tie. Okay. So in New York, in Wall Street now, everybody should be in formal suit and tie. But high-tech company in California may wear t-shirt and shorts to the work, or like all IT guys you must have come across. In India also the impact is here, as a result of which they can come with t-shirt and shorts, but they cannot come like this to a multinational company even in India. So formal culture may have a strict hierarchy, formal culture or chain of command. Okay. Then may have the top decision maker with several layers of management below. As we have worked, like I worked earlier in civil service and in Reserve Bank, starting from assistant manager, you move 10 levels, you move to become a chief general manager and all that. So now all these things have gone. The organizations have become flat structure. So in flat structure, there are only 2-3 tiers. Maybe manager, general manager, and CEO. There is nothing else. So then in formal culture, making changes or passing down decisions may be complicated because it is coming through a tier of 10 to 15 levels. Then job titles indicate power and status. If you are general manager, then this is your status. If you are CEO, this is your status. This is your power and authority. Everything is well prescribed in a formal culture. Then dress codes and work hours strictly enforced. Yeah, everything. That most important is you should come properly suited, coated, booted dress, and work hours are strictly enforced. But in informal culture, there has been a growth of informal culture during the COVID times. In many companies who are earlier believing in formal culture, they have started developing informal culture. And here, employees are encouraged to make decisions on their own, may have decentralized organization. Yeah, that you have seen how employees they can take their own decision in a flat organization. The organization is adopting, all the organization are adopting flat structure because most of the employees, the level of intelligence is not much different. But when I was in my younger days and I was joining it maybe at the bottom level, assistant manager, deputy manager, like that. That time we knew that who is general manager must be much more learned and all that. But now it is not so. Now rather it is ulta, that the assistant manager maybe, because everything is driven by artificial intelligence. So in that situation, they know sometimes better. And that is why it will make no sense in going for a hierarchical structure. It has to be a flat structure where everybody is at par, and there can be a sort of, project approach to solve different issues. That is what is the most successful model now. So work hours are more flexible, may also work from home, as we have seen during COVID. Okay. So may value innovation over tradition. Yeah. So now, like, how do you draw cutting edge over the competitor? The only thing you can do is through innovation. How are you innovating, coming out with new changes, new systems, new procedures, and then you are over tradition. Tradition is going for foot now. So then job titles are not as important. Yeah, it hardly matters if you are general manager, and if you are ignorant, then how does it matter? Assistant manager will teach you, right? So job titles are not as important because we are knowledge driven. So knowledge prepares actually, a sort of hierarchy, that who is more knowledgeable and who is not. There is no other designation which plays any role. So dress code is more casual now, yes. Then cultural diversity, companies tend to thrive when they have diversity. This is what. See, they tend to thrive when they have diversity. So diversity management, I'll talk about it maybe after 2, 3 slides. Yeah, a variety of employees with different background and identities. People are diverse in terms of age, yeah, then gender, then ethnicity, then individual needs, then education, marital status, income, religious beliefs. These are the factors which create diversity. And diversity suddenly has become so important because a lot of research has shown that as you become diverse, the company's productivity goes up. Don't at all think that if company's productivity was not going up, only for ethical reasons people will look for diversity. It is not so. Being a student of management, I'll tell you that I am interested in diversity because it drives my productivity. It drives my productivity to DG heights, and that is what makes me a perennial winner. That is what makes me a perennial winner against very tough competition coming from across the globe. So cultural diversity in the workplace means difference in skills, work habits, and approaches to tasks. Yes. So these, in workplace also, there is difference in skill, then work habits will be different, then approaches to different tasks, or problem solving will be different. People with same assignments will carry them out in different ways. Okay. So it plays a very important role in problem solving. Now we need problem solvers in the organizations. We don't want anything else because all other things are taken care by artificial intelligence. How do you solve a particular problem, a particular glitch? There you will find if people with diversity they are there, they will approach the problem from 3, 4 angles. And one angle may not work, the other angle will work. But if you have people from same background, same type of way, they will look at the problem from only one type of prism or mirror. So all of them fail means the organization fails. So now with diversity, there is no chance the organization will fail. If somebody is falling down, falling flat, other will stand up with his idea. Yeah. So some people stereotype others who are different from them. Yes, to stereotype people is to identify them by a single trait or as a member of certain group rather than as individuals. If you are respecting somebody as individual, then you have to give credit to the diversity because you will have a different thought process. Your success on the job will depend on how well you work with and for people who are different from you. Please remember, this is a very important trait I also understood during my recent interaction with their trade and business in Canada. They said that we assess people on the basis of this thing, how good you are in doing business with people who are different from you. Because no prize, no award for you that you know how to do business well with people of the same culture. That anybody can do, any fool can do. But when you are doing business successfully with other culture, people of other culture and diversity, and you are improving productivity, then you are the hero. So this particular thing that should be recognized by us, and we should train our students in the colleges and universities how to adopt diversity as biggest triggering point for productivity. So the impact of multiculturalism on business, population is becoming more ethnically diverse, as I told you just now, that there is not a single country which has insulated itself from people from other countries or culture from other countries from coming. Forget about social media, but every day because of the economic imbalance, you cannot, can you create a sort of border in between Bangladesh and India? You cannot do that because if it is 10,000 kilometer distance, how many security guards you will put? How many? You cannot do that. If there is there is hunger in one part of the globe, they will come. They will forsake their life, like many boats they are getting drowned in Mediterranean and all that. but people are dying. But that did not stop people coming from Latin America to America and Canada. So they still come. They are coming in large numbers because otherwise there is no way for them how to come out of hunger. So population is becoming ethnically diverse. In any country, you will find people from different ethnical background. Each year, about 100 million people enter through various methods. 100 million people each year, they enter the neighboring country through various methods, legally or illegally. How legally? Legally, it is possible also. Like you study, they say that only if you do your business degree in US, then you will be getting a job there. You will get a work permit for 2 years. And within these 2 years, you can strike, you can try to get your green card or this and that, and you can legally settle in US, like my son has settled. So like there are many people in many families, they are legally settled through legal means, that you go for study, then you get work permit, work there, then eventually you slowly get green card, then citizenship. That is legal method. Illegally, when people they enter, then illegally they stay in a country for about 15-20 years, then suddenly the country decides that okay, we'll regularize all. Like during Obama time, he decided that all the Africans and Asians who have illegally entered and settled in US for more than 20 years, they should be given citizenship. Okay, so by students work permits after study by students to different states in USA, Europe, Asia with high inclusivity index. So only countries who have high inclusivity index, they will allow this. Other countries, they will not allow. But slowly, most of the countries, they are opening up. Okay, that there is, it makes a lot of sense because it adds to business. That's why I cannot keep myself insulated. So research has shown that with every 1% increase in ethno-cultural diversity, 1% in workforce has resulted in 2.4% growth in revenue. Okay, this is a study done in India. I collected this material from the publications of Bombay Chamber, and it says that if you are increasing diversity in a company by 1%, then there is a growth of 2.4% in revenue. How is it happening? What is the factor that is contributing? So when you study that, then you will agree that diversity gives different propensity to business. And instead of putting everything to one propensity, if you put different propensities, then the growth will go up. And of course, the other study that I did was it is more pronounced in information, utilities and communication industry. In these areas, the growth is quite high. The revenue growth is quite high, but I have taken an average figure of 2.4% growth. Also, figures from industry sources say with every 1% increase, gender diversity, this is very important. My friends, ladies who are there in the audience today, they will be happy to know that this shows that in gender diversity, if you increase by 1%, then there is 3.5% increase in revenue. Okay, so if you have more women workforce, then the productivity will go up. This is proved on the basis of facts and figures. And that is why we should go for it, because that is an important part of multiculturalism also. Then next is, yeah, so population is getting older. That is another factor. Yes, population is getting older. I was just telling you that how population is getting older even in a country like China, who are very young 10 years back. And they thought that, so what is the moral of the story is, when your population is young, like for India, it will be for another 15 years. This is the time, like we say, tawa jab garam hai, aap roti bana lo, right? So this is the time we should drive the all engines of growth in such a way that when we started aging after 15 years, we can relax. Okay, I made enough money. We have made so much of, we have put the country's growth into digi heights. So we can relax. We'll take care of these older people. That is what should be our spirit. Then only we will be in a position, ever winning position. So population is getting older and living longer, yes. more workers age 65 and above are working past retirement, because now there is nothing like retirement age. As long as you are active, you are working, and maybe you will be contributing more. You will be contributing more after retirement than what you are doing earlier. Okay. Yeah, I've seen that myself. Okay. So then you become more busy even after your retirement, because the type of skill that you have acquired during your year, that is in high demand. So obviously, so women in labor force expected to rise slightly faster than for men. Okay, so labor force they will increase because they have started becoming highly top skilled people, and their reputation of sticking to the job is very fast, and their productivity rate is also higher. So that is why they will be faster than for men. Then workers aged 25 to 54 are the largest share of the workforce. Yes, these are only some of the factors. Then changes in workplace, women and minorities are taking more leadership management roles. Earlier it was not there, but now you will find that women, they are always at the top in most of the corporates, and they are doing very well. And in management roles, they are more in number. And minorities also, minorities, because in a country like India, we allow everybody same status, same, yeah, so naturally minorities, they are doing very well, and they have done wonders in the country also. Okay, there are many examples you will find that they are leading from the front. Then many workers from various cultures do cultural analysis as strategy for business analysis. Okay. So many workers from various cultures do cultural analysis as strategy for business analysis. That is what many times we have done also. I have done in the past when we started opening a business in China. We first did a cultural analysis. That what are the important points in their culture which will endear them to my product. Okay, so what are the important points in their culture? So that cultural analysis all the companies must do before they try to penetrate to any new territory. For business analysis, leveraging on how different people communicate, how they prioritize and decide differently. This is the most important part in management, that how they decide differently. I was just telling you that each and every culture has a propensity to decide things differently, has a propensity to prioritize things differently. And a combination of all these will make the organization winner. Otherwise, one culture people, if you are taking people from one culture, they will prioritize in one way, and they will not they decide differently. They will decide in their own way, in one way. And that many times may not make you a winner. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So changes in marketplace, more diverse workplace, more diverse marketplace. Many times the marketplace looks at the type of people who are working here. Okay, so if you can prove to them that your workplace is diverse and your people are from across the globe, from each and every culture, then you will find it is easier for you to penetrate new markets and more diverse marketplace. Marketplace will also become diverse. It will move from one corner of the globe to the other. So various groups with spending power. Yeah. So when we talk of diversity, this is also a very important point. Like spending power is different for people from Western India, people from Eastern India, from Northern India. So spending power is different. And that is how they form different groups. And that is how you bring out to the market, that particular market, taking into account their spending power, how much they can spend, what sort of product. Okay, what sort of product you will bring, how much will be in the hi-fi category, how much will be in the normal average category. All these things are decided on the basis of that. So many ads in multiple languages, English and others. So you give a lot of ads in multiple languages just to see that you reach out to the cultures properly, because you cannot reach out to a sort of culture in an interior place with English. Obviously, you will have to follow the local language. So multiple languages, they have a sort of cultural link which English may not have. So that is why, yeah. So more novel and assimilative cultural competence has brought in more diversity dividend to business. This we call diversity dividend. Always, whenever a business is spreading to new territory, the first question we do a cultural analysis. Then we say that whether this cultural analysis is going to make sufficient diversity dividend to my business in this territory or not. So diversity dividend is always calculated in financial terms, and to see that I can still become a winner if I am penetrating this market. This has also resulted in less workforce conflict. Yes, because the moment you are a diverse workforce, then everybody who looks at you will come to know that when they are accommodating people of different cultures so amicably well, and all of them are happy, that means the workforce conflict will not be there here. So I should join this company. And once they join, they try to inculcate the spirit. And there is less, we have seen through our studies, that the workforce conflict is less. Then there is more innovation, because I just told you that each and every problem is looked at from a different perspective by different culture. So the innovation will be more, that I am looking at this like this. So this is where the innovation comes. Okay, so which must not have been noticed by others. But this particular area is my area of innovation, and that will allow me to come up with new product or service which will have cutting edge value addition compared to my competitor. Then this has opened up novel approaches to problem solving. Yes, I was just talking to you about problem solving, which has become a very important part of management learning. Management learning, yeah. I found that there is one class in their syllabus. I have a copy of that. In their MBA, I found that how to encourage students to pick up the attributes of problem solving in the organization. Okay, so they do a lot of case studies, then do that, they go to the company, then find out, list out what are the problems you have and how they come out to the solution. This is how you can do. I'm giving you 3 choices. You please take any one that suits you. And open up novel approaches to problem solving, meet unmet needs. Many of the times our needs are unmet. And how to meet these unmet needs? That is possible if there is a diversity in thinking. Like standing near the road and waving hand to all the taxis going by. Many of you must have experienced, it has cost me sometimes 2 hours, 3 hours to get a taxi. So there was a need, there was a vacuum, there was a demand that I should get a taxi right now, which was filled by Uber or Ola. So there was an unmet need and unmet demand. And this need was met because somebody who is different from me, who said that there has to be a solution. Why this man should stand here looking for a taxi for 2 hours, 3 hours, and then throwing up hands in helplessness. There is a vacuum, and how to fill in this vacuum. And Uber and Ola came to fill in this vacuum. So meet unmet needs, create new needs. Please remember that meeting needs any fool can do. But creating new needs and pushing up product for this need to the market, that is the new dynamics of business. New dynamics is how to create need which does not exist in you, and create that and then push product to the market and sell aggressively. That is what is going to keep the business dynamics moving in days to come. Okay, in market, yeah, multicultural has also opened up new access strategies to highly uncertain market dynamics. Now the market dynamics is so uncertain, you never know what is going to happen, how long this Ukraine war will continue. Many times they say it will continue for another 50 years. Somebody says it will continue for another 20 years. Because Russia is not going to leave it like that, because Ukraine was part of the during Cold War, wars affect countries. Russia was the leader and Ukraine was part of it. Now NATO countries, they are snatching it from them. So Russia is also hell-bent that no, you cannot snatch it from me. So they will fight to the finish. Maybe atomic war, maybe this and that. What will be the role of India in all this? We are also many times confused, but we are now very sure. That yes, we will protect our interest first. That is why we get petrol at 100 liters, 100 rupees per liter, whereas Pakistan gets it 700, Sri Lanka gets it 600, something like that. Okay. So we are very clear about it now. So important thing is that it is uncertain market dynamics. What will be the trade barrier from one country to the other? The trade is the biggest issue now. You never know actually what will happen. Who will put a sort of tariff on your trade, and then what will happen to your domestic production? What will happen to the workers? What will happen to the factory? In such a situation, multiculturalism always can play a very important role because it allows you to have different layers of analysis, different layers of strategy making, different layers of solution making, which is not available in if it is a unitary situation. Yeah. So now I come to the last slide. That is multicultural strategy for today and tomorrow. So what should be the strategy today and tomorrow? Little bit of little bit of thinking and little bit of contribution I have made, and I'll be very happy if it was highly appreciated there, and if we appreciate and try to practice in our management teaching also, because we are a management teaching institution. So number one is try to make the company inclusive by hiring from different characteristics, even LGBT, okay, whatever different characteristics, backgrounds and ethnicities, because each and every category has a propensity to productivity, which is different from the other. So that is number one. Number two, leads to more realistic worldviews. You should be realistic now. Whatever is happening around the globe, we should have a realistic view instead of telling that this is the idealistic one. People should not fight, they should not kill each other, they should live happily, they should live like neighbors. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, these are good to hear. Okay, more realistic worldviews which can lead to competitive advantage. Yeah, realistic worldview is how it can give me a competitive advantage. What is the cutting edge with me? Unless I have a cutting edge over my competitor, then how do I get competitive advantage? I will be always a bloody follower. I cannot be a leader. So that is how. Then diversity is an asset when dealing with clients and customers of various cultures. Yes, I've explained this. That as to how it is a very big asset. Unless you practice diversity, you are not going to deal with the clients and customers as masterfully as you can do if you practice diversity. Make multiculturalism a credit point subject in all business schools. Yes, and including my own school also, which I love the most. That I do not know. Multiculturalism a credit point subject, non-credit nahi, credit point subject in the management syllabus. Yeah, it should be there. It should be there. If it is not there, I'll request decision makers to please include it because this is going to be the future. Then draw on strength of the company's melting pot. Each and every company is like a melting pot, as I told in the beginning, that the day your HR you go to join, he gives you the code of conduct, then he gives you a copy of the company's corporate culture and all that. He's expecting you to follow these and get into the melting pot of the company so that when you stand up after 1 year or 5 days or 6 days or 10 days, you stand up as the proud ambassador and representative of that company. Like many of you must have seen, those who have worked in Tata's. They very proud to stand. These are my value system. I stand very proudly for that. Okay, so that sort of melting pot approach has to be there. So these are my words. I'll take some questions, sir. Thank you very much. Thanks all of you. Thanks, all of you. Deepak sir, thank you very much for organizing it, and I thank everybody who has attended. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It was a very interesting insight into various aspects of culturalism, multiculturalism, and the points that you brought out, sir, are very valid in the current times. And more often than not, we miss out these important aspects because they are soft aspects, they are not hard aspects. So we generally miss out. So if anyone has any questions or any reflections or any experience they would like to share, you're please welcome to do so. Anyone? No, there don't seem to be any questions.
Okay. Okay. Good.
In fact, I do believe that at NMIMS as a whole and SPKM comprehensively, we are quite diverse in that sense.
Yeah,
And there is
absolutely.
a lot of, though meritocracy is supreme, but yes, uh, there is no unfavored bias or prejudice towards any category of diversity, which I feel we have seen in our organization.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody is evaluated with the same benchmarks and
Same.
parameters, and
Yeah.
nobody is at advantage or disadvantage. That is something that we must, these are things which we take for granted and don't even realize that they exist. So whether it is regional, whether it is linguist, or whether it is any other diversity, we do not have any bias or prejudice, as we have seen, at least in hiring people and as well as student diversity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you, sir, for your
Thank you very
session.
much.
We
Thank
are
you.
very grateful to you for having spared your time, and we would look forward to you coming up again sometime in future.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
sir.
sir, and all the
Thank you.
best for your
Thank you.
endeavors.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.